Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome to Blue Talks, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Sarah Jefferis, and thank you to Blue Talks and Columbia University for hosting this event. What some people might know about me is that I am a certified Yin and Vinyasa flow yoga teacher. I did the Vinyasa flow training twice because the first one was online during the pandemic. I also studied Reiki, and currently I teach writing at the Cornell Johnson School of Business. Also, I'm a poet. I have 3 books, and my most recent one is called Lucky to Have You. It's coming out right now with Finishing Line Press. It's about love and luck and loss and how they all meet together, holding hands. But what I am most excited about is that I created a 2-tier program called Mat to Pen, which transforms corporations and individual thought leaders. It sets the stage for a revolution in corporate well-being practices using meditation and yoga writing as an intentional strategy to establish diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in a harmonious workplace. For individual clients, I work one-on-one with Mat to Pen. And for them, it helps them breathe words back into their life and breathe life back into their words on or off the mat. With each inhale and exhale, we move one sentence, one line at a time. Mat to Pen. You bring your journal with you to practice, and it incorporates yoga, meditation, neuroscience, breath work, and reflective writing prompts that I create for your audience so they can tap into their creativity, release writing anxiety. Because I don't know about you, but maybe if you want to raise your hand, some of you might have some writing anxiety. And I happen to know the breath work and the yoga to help you shake that off. Mat to Pen will also help you persevere through the messy middle of all of your writing projects, because we are excited in the beginning and we love the finish line. But the door of knocking called quit always arrives in the middle. And that's the time we need to go to the mat. That's the time we need to go back to the body. But I have not always been in my body. I want to take you back to a time where I loved this cauliflower, my beautiful brain. It was a place I lived. It was my home, my address, and my brain was exactly the thing that helped me out of poverty. It was the most loyal part of my soul. And my body, well, that was along for the ride. Have you ever felt like your body was kind of a stranger you really had no interest in, kind of connecting with or landing in? Kind of something you didn't really want to talk to? That's how I felt in my body. And I was in Ithaca, New York in graduate school, and I felt a little sick. And the doctor said, try yoga. The doctor said, make a relationship with pain. You know, we have a tendency not to speak about our relationship to pain. We just succumb it, or we push it way down. Or we try to distract ourselves and act like we ain't got no pain. I ain't got pain. You ain't got pain. Pain ain't in the room when we eat all the time or we watch TV all the time. Have you ever felt so much physical pain that the pain itself felt like a companion? So the doctor said, try yoga. And I gotta tell you, even as a yoga teacher, the first time I walked into the studio, I was like, hell no, this is not for me. I had no idea if this thing called yoga would help or hurt, if it would relieve my pain or strengthen it. But I knew enough to know I needed to do something different. I was very nervous to be in a class in the basement of Cornell. I was haunted by the mirrors of my childhood ballet days, and I thought classes like elevators, I thought they had weight limits. I thought all the skinny, pretty girls would turn their faces away from me because I had been turning my face away from me for years. You know, funny thing, at that time, I must have weighed 200 pounds. And 20 years later, after 2 children, a marriage, and burying a spouse, I would give my right hand to go back to that weight. I have been chasing a number on a scale or a bank account my whole life. In that room, I grabbed the mat and some blankets and I sat down in the back and I looked around at all the women and I coveted their bodies and their definition and I tried to stand. I was like a brain ordering my muscles to move and I tried to do tree pose, but I fell out of it. And then they said, find warrior. And I thought, I'm not a warrior, though I love Xena. And I reached and I tried to find peaceful warrior. But I was sweating and I stumbled on the mat. And I have to tell you about yoga if you've never been. And I wish someone had told me this. At the end, everyone closes their eyes. Now, first of all, they don't even know each other. But they close their eyes and then they lay down on the floor in quiet. And I thought, it is wacky. Really strange to close your eyes in a room full of people you don't know. And so I decided in that moment that yoga was not for me. I rolled up that mat and I walked out of that gym. And I said, no more body, just brain. But I still had pain. And I tried to get through graduate school and I found myself sometimes back in that same yoga class, still kind of falling, but I have learned that falling is a kind of practice. I have learned to fall out of my head and back into my body. And that yoga, the union of mind and body and spirit, changes every time we arrive on the mat. And thank God for that. I also learned that yoga does not align with perfection. So when I arrived in the studio, I could drop every desire I had to be perfect. Yoga is an ongoing participatory experiment in which every part of your life becomes a laboratory. Now, I never went to science class, and so I had never been in a lab, but I loved the idea that this was a place I could play. This was a place I could experiment. This was a new place. And I also loved that I could learn. I didn't have to be flexible before the class started. I didn't have to have it all figured out. And so I decided I could be a yoga teacher. And I did the Vinyasa training twice, and I did the Yin training, and I hung on to hope because I could not do a headstand. But I figured out, if I have the willingness to breathe and the desire to create a safe, quiet space for people to keep their eyes open when they lay down if they want, or to close them, but for everyone in every body, shape or size, age or race, to come to the mat and feel safe and land back in their body, to invite the stranger to the mat, then it was a win. Then came the research on neuroscience and yoga and somatic workshops, and the realization that asanas would release sorrow. Yoga brought me to the present. Yoga is now. Now is yoga, says the sutras. In yoga class, after Shavasana, I would wake up and I had 20 ideas and I would run to my car and some I'd lose. And so I started bringing the notebook to the mat. So while everyone laid down and closed their eyes, I kind of got out a pencil and I started writing some of the ideas down. Because the notebook is a kind of mat. The mat, a kind of notebook. In each place, we can record, remember, and release. Yoga has helped me find harmony as a solo mama, my creative work as a writer, and as the CEO of my own business right now. Everyone always says we don't have time to write, and I say, how about now? How about now? We have 5 minutes every single day where we could write. And that's why I created Mat to Pen. It reduces stress, it boosts focus and brain function, and it opens the mind to new ideas. I invite you, if you are ever stuck writing, if you can't find the word, if you can't find the image, pull out the mat, come to the mat, plant your feet, place a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly, and breathe. Because when we return to the mat, possibility arrives. In the corporate space, Mat to Pen has helped nurses post-COVID move from post-traumatic stress to post-traumatic growth. It has helped vet students steady their vision and practice for future clinics. There are many benefits to bring Mat to Pen to your company, but here are 3. 1, it enhances creativity and imagination. 2, cultivates effective communication. And 3, promotes mindful leadership. Come to the mat with me. Bring your leaders, bring your pen. Let's breathe life back into your company's ecosystem again. 1 breath, 1 exhale at a time. Thank you.